Hello and welcome to Dishing Delights. My name is Jenica and today I'm going to show you part 2 of the January Pantry Challenge, where I share with you the meals that we made this week with items that we had in our pantry, fridge, and freezer. Let's get to it. So in the month of January, as I have said in my previous video, I am focusing on a pantry challenge, and so I am not going to go into the grocery store if I can help it. It's January 6th and I've done pretty good so far, so we'll see. Well, I got a call last night saying that at the store, if you are new here, my husband's family owns a convenience store, and when they have items that their Best By date has passed, I sometimes get the option to take some of those items home. And it looks like there was a lot of dairy and also some salami that met that description. So they called last night and they said, what would you like? And I said, bring whatever you would like to over. So there's a thing of country crock, 2 pounds of butter, and these are both like really good butters, so I was really happy to see that, especially this one. I can't wait to try this brand. Some margarine, which I don't think I've ever even purchased margarine in my adult life, so we are going to make some cookies, and that's what I'm going to do with this. There's actually a chocolate chip cookie recipe on the back, and my husband said, hey, let's make that, so that's what we'll probably do. Some salami, like I already said. My husband would love that. 2 packages of Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm excited to use this. Usually I just buy the off-brand cream cheese, so that'll be a treat. And then let's take these non-returnable stickers off. And then we have 3 8-ounce blocks of Colby Jack cheese, an 8-ounce block of sharp cheddar, and an 8-ounce block of mild cheddar. So now that I'm looking at these dates, these Colby ones need to be eaten really quickly. And this one. This is the only one that just passed. So these ones need to be gone through pretty quickly. So what I'll do is I'll freeze these cheeses and I'll just bring them out as I need shredded cheese for dishes. So that's a little insight on how I can keep my grocery bill down quite a bit. I mean, if you think about this, this is what? $20 to $30 and free goods, and I do understand that I am very blessed to have this opportunity and that this is abnormal, but I figured I'd share that with you since I kind of inherited some great items for this pantry challenge, so maybe I'll be able to go a little bit further into February. The first meal that we are going to make is some goulash. The night before I made this goulash, I did end up browning some ground beef, and I used that for a recipe in a previous video. But after I browned off that ground beef, I just put it in a container and then used the rest of it for this goulash. Alright, we're going to make some goulash. I have some ground beef. I'm going to make some beef broth, my elbow noodles, tomato sauce, some of my home canned tomatoes, Italian seasoning, olive oil, Worcestershire sauce, an onion. I also have some diced green peppers, and I think that that's it. Let's cut up our onion and let's get into it. Okay, this onion's strong, so I'm only going to use half of it. So over here I have my olive oil. Into this, I'm also going to add in some of that diced green pepper. Alright, to this I'm going to add in my ground beef. Add a little bit of oil. And I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of the Italian seasoning. Some tomato sauce. I'm going to add in the whole can. Right now I'm going to add in my can of whole tomatoes. And as I stir this, I'm just going to break those tomatoes up. I'm going to add just over a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, some garlic powder. My bay leaves are small, so I'm going to add a couple of those in. I'm going to add a couple cups of water and a couple teaspoons of beef bouillon. I'm not going to add any more salt to this until the end, just in case that makes it a little too salty. I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder. And when I'm making anything with red sauce, I do add a little bit of sugar just to break down that acidity a little bit. Now I am just going to let this simmer until it's cooked, until the noodles. Now I am just going to let this simmer until the noodles are fully cooked through. I am going to add just a hint of soy sauce for that like umami flavor. Yum. And of course, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. And that is what's for dinner.
For the next meal, we are going to have chicken, broccoli, and rice.
So we are going to keep dinner as simple as we can. I'm going to slice up half of an onion. I'm going to place some green peppers in the slow cooker, and then I'm also going to put in a chicken breast. So I just added that onion into the bottom of my slow cooker. I'm going to add some of these green peppers. And to that, I'm going to add in this chicken breast. I'm going to coat that chicken breast with this Creole seasoning. And I'm going to flip it. Coat the top. Then I'm simply just going to cover this on low until it's completely cooked through.
Now I had some leftover rice from a previous video, so I added some of that and some frozen broccoli into a pan, and I just set this on 300 for quite a while. It was honestly probably about 40 minutes until they were fully cooked through. I did end up broiling the broccoli for like a minute after that, but this turned out delicious.
I have our chicken right here. Alright, I'm going to take this chicken out and let it rest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the skin and the bones off of this breast. Alright, my SD card died. But I cut up my chicken off of that breastbone and I just set it in here sliced. And that is what's for dinner.
For recipe number 3, we are going to make some red beans over rice.
Alright, I'm going to make like almost red beans and rice. I don't know what this is. But I have some kidney beans. I have this roasted garlic chicken smoked sausage. I'm going to cut up this onion. I have the rest of these green peppers, some Cajun seasoning. Now I should char this up. You know what I'm going to. So I'm just gonna toss this in the freezer. I'm not gonna need that much onion. So I'm going to take this onion and add it to my slow cooker, along with that green pepper. It's all the way diced up. And then I'm not even going to get my cutting board out. I'm just going to chop up the sausage and add that to the pan to brown. Alright, I have these browning on both sides. I'm going to add them to the slow cooker. I'm going to rinse my can of kidney beans. I'm adding in my can of red beans. Ooh, I was gonna add in my other Cajun seasoning, but I'm going to add in my Grill Master. And then I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of chicken broth. And then we're just gonna let that all come together on a low heat for about 5 hours. All right, I have my Instant Pot with my white rice. I'm actually gonna make myself some brown rice, but this is my husband's bowl. And then for that chicken sausage, that looks amazing. So I'm just going to take a spoonful of that and just ladle it right over. Some of that broth. And that is what's for dinner.
The next meal we had was some chicken corn chowder. This was in a shelf-stable pantry meals video. I'll link that video down below. The base of this recipe was a Bear Creek soup, and it was really, really good. The next meal we are going to make is my favorite when I'm home alone, and that's a tuna melt. So for this meal, it was just me, so I ended up just taking a leftover bag of broccoli. This was frozen broccoli. I tossed it in the air fryer with some garlic and onion seasoning, and then I just let this go for about 7 or 8 minutes until it was all crispy and brown at the edges. While my broccoli was cooking, I constructed my patty melt. Now I do this a little bit different every time. but I usually just take a can of albacore tuna, some mayonnaise, and then I shred up some cheese. This time I had some white cheddar. That's usually my favorite, but any good cheese that will melt really deliciously. To my tuna mixture, I added some seasonings, some paprika, some salt, some garlic. You can honestly use whatever you would like. You can make this a spicy tuna if you want. Now for the bread of this sandwich, I had some homemade bread left over still, so I sliced a couple slices of that up. I'll leave this bread knife down below because it is amazing. And then I toasted that bread with some mayonnaise. You could use butter if you want, but I use mayonnaise to toast my bread. And then to that sandwich, I added some of that cheese. If you get some cheese on the pan, do not worry because that'll crisp up and that's a delicious little snack. And then I added a layer of my tuna on top. Now I just tossed the other slice of bread on that, but if you would like to, you can double dose that cheese and add some more cheese on top. I was trying to be a little bit on the healthier side, even though this is a tuna melt and I don't think that's a choice.
Alright, dinner tonight is a tuna melt with some broccoli. I put a little bit of leftover cheese I had on top and some black coffee, even though it's 6 p.m. I wonder why my sleep schedule is so off. This is going to be so delicious. And that is what's for dinner.
I ended up making this 2 nights in a row because I was trying to go through this bread. So it was that good. I'll just say that. And our final meal was some leftover goulash.
I have this leftover goulash. I'm going to transfer it into this baking dish. And then I'm going to bake it at 350 until it's heated through. Gotta get these bay leaves out of here.
Now, of course, the pasta is a lot more mushy with leftover goulash, but you have to use up leftovers some way. And when you're in a household of 2 people, you just have to deal with that. So this is how we prepared our leftovers this day.
I'm going to cover that and put that in the oven, and I'm going to make some garlic bread. All right, these are frozen, but I'll still be able to cut it up. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to layer one side with butter, then I'm going to add some mozzarella cheese and a little bit of Parmesan, and also some garlic salt. You'll probably also see me add some Italian seasoning. I have my garlic salt. I also have some mozzarella cheese. I'm overloading that with cheese. And now I have some Parmesan cheese. And then some Italian seasoning. And that is our cheesy garlic bread.
Now these cook pretty quickly. I cooked them at 400 degrees for like 4 or 5 minutes. Just make sure you keep checking on them. And then we had some company over, so I decided to break out a block of that cream cheese, and then I also had some red pepper jelly, and I just poured some of that on top and served it alongside some crackers, and this is always a hit no matter where you are. And then for that goulash, I just served it alongside that garlic bread, and that was a super simple dinner. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my next video. And thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to be back next week with week 3 of the Pantry Challenge. See you next time.